The protagonist is arguably the most important aspect of a series. In most cases, we view the world of the story through their lens, and they're the character the audience will be spending most of their time with, making key decisions that affect the plot. So if the audience isn't invested in the protagonist, then it can negatively impact the overall experience of the story. This is why series like Black Clover received so much hate in its earlier stages, because viewers found the main character, Asta, to be insufferable. This resulted in the series becoming a laughingstock for years. This initial first impression will always be a scar in the series that will negatively impact its PR. The importance of a protagonist is why series like Jobless Reincarnation receive so much slander, because the audience's introduction to Rudius is of a man that has committed actions that will have you questioning yourself.
You say you touch those kids? When shit hit the fan, is you still a fan?
And this also is the main problem with the latest shonen series released this season, Kaiju No.8. The protagonist, Kafka Hibino, doesn't act his age. At the age of 32, if you were to tell me that the character was 16, I would laugh. A lot of shonen series include protagonists around the age of 15 to 17 that have the typical positive idealism mixed in with the childish personality you would expect from a teenager, which is why conceptually, Kafka being 32 years old was a chance to bring a breath of fresh air to the typical shonen protagonist in a story. But if Kafka is just going to act like a teenager, why not just make him 16 in the story instead of 32? The whole plot point just lacks creativity and ends up being meaningless, because there was a chance to do something unique here and then the series does nothing with it. It just ends up being frustrating because it is one of the main appeals for this series, and I believe this lack of creativity is just a smaller example that leads into a much larger issue with Kaiju No.8 as a whole. Which is what I would be saying if I wanted to be disingenuous towards a series. Every single time I hear this criticism towards Kaiju No.8, the flames of rage ignite in my soul. Even right now, I have to remember to hold myself back because the video needs to be suitable for ads. But what the hell does this criticism even mean? It is the big year of 2024 and we are still putting labels on what it means to be a certain age. What are we doing? What does it even mean to act 30 years old? Because when people say this, they never elaborate on what it actually means. I am waiting for the PowerPoint presentation explaining to me the universal law on how an individual is supposed to act on day one of becoming 30 years old. I'm left in a situation where I have to make an assumption on what this statement even means, because again, it is one of the most vague criticisms I've ever heard in my life. Like, I guess when some people hear about a 30-year-old protagonist, their mind immediately goes towards someone like Levi from Attack on Titan, where they expect the character to act like Guts from Berserk. You people do realize that aging doesn't automatically mean your life becomes depressing, right? All of this depends on the type of story the author is trying to tell. This criticism genuinely gives off the energy that you are trying to critique something just to critique. You like to argue just for the sake of arguing. It's not making sense. Somebody please educate me in the comments, because this take is confusing. If we are going to have a dialogue about criticism about Kaiju No.8, then let's actually do that instead of saying something vague and just saying them just to say them. I'll start. My biggest issue with Kaiju No.8 is the release schedule in relation to the story's pacing. The manga releases chapters bi-weekly, but the pacing of the story is written with the impression that these chapters are released weekly. As a result, a lot of chapters never feel like there's enough content to tie me over during the wait period. So I just decided to stop reading the series and let enough chapters stack so I can binge the series all at once, because that is the only way I'm able to enjoy this series. I believe this is healthy criticism compared to hearing that the protagonist of a new shonen series people are talking about is in his 30s and then deciding to set expectations on how said character should behave before even taking in what the story is trying to say, because Kafka is written that way for a reason. The individuals that do this are setting themselves up for disappointment because you are placing your own narrow-minded viewpoints on how a 30-year-old should act upon a series, because I can easily flip this argument to sound really stupid. Even though anime has become a medium that's widely accepted, there are still people that will look at you weirdly for watching anime, immediately assuming the type of person you are by the media you consume. Like, there's still people who believe that by a certain age you need to stop watching shonen anime altogether. For example, if I started clowning someone for watching a series like Sailor Moon even though I am a Madoka Magica stan, that would be pretty weird. The pushback towards that statement would be justified, which is why this discourse is so hilarious to me, because the same people that hold these opinions are the same people that still watch shonen anime that are similar to the types of anime they would watch when they were 15. The same themes and tropes still entertain them, so clearly that aspect of themselves hasn't changed over the years. This entire argument that Kaiju No.8 suffers in writing quality because Kafka doesn't act his age is riddled with hypocrisy. Nobody complains about Gojo Satoru having the personality of a Discord troll at 28 years old. Gentoki from Gintama like acts like an adult version of Kazuma from Konosuba. Again, like, what are we doing? And this goes just beyond anime. Loved characters in media such as Walter White and Saul Goodman, characters in their 50s are ego-driven man-childs who are the embodiment of everything but maturity. Maturity does not come with age, it comes from your specific experiences and how you react to them. A 16-year-old can be more mature than a 6-year-old. That is not an unlikely situation. And a lot of the time, characters are written this way because it ultimately serves a purpose in the story. Because at the end of the day, a lot of themes and messages in stories are universal to all ages. So moving forward, if you are talking to someone in real life or online and you experience them vocalizing this criticism in regards to Kaiju number 8 or any series for that matter, I want you to show them this video or reply to them with this video. When you come across the tweets that push this foolishness, please reply to them with this video because I'm tired. People need to stop fetishizing negativity. Monumental moments in a character's journey do not have to include suffering in order for there to be character development. Like the amount of times I see people say that a character has no development or writing because they didn't suffer enough is really weird. People hate fun, and most of the time these statements are pretty stupid anyways, because unless it is in your face, a lot of people don't acknowledge subtle development in a character throughout a story. Now obviously the context of the story matters in these situations, but not every character needs to experience their own version of the eclipse or start moving like Sung Jin Woo after a huge setback. And it's not to say that Kafka isn't suffering either. The dude starts the series working a career drastically different from his childhood dream and puts on a goofy demeanor to cope with it. The man has been telling himself it is what it is for a decade, but again, not every character in a story needs to have the development of happy to sad. There are other ways to tell a story, and this holds true to life in general. Just because you age, it doesn't mean you have to be a stern, serious person that has the aura of a wise sage. You can be animated, you can be goofy, you can have fun, as long as you're respectful to others and have confidence in who you are. I believe a character who's in their 30s seeks the positives of life and has been given a chance to achieve their childhood dream is inspirational storytelling, and frankly I believe that shows maturity in its own right, especially in a story where the main topic is about whether age should define your dreams. The first time Kafka meets Ichikawa, he tells him that it's okay that he gave up, a concept that Ichikawa would understand once he's older, which is a pretty depressing outlook on life, but as the series progresses it shows that this mindset is incorrect, because no matter your age you can still strive towards your goals. I think it hits a lot harder that it's from a character at that age, because that's the age where people normally give up on the grand dreams they had as a child, and that is the message of Kaiju number 8, that anyone can have a story.
Clinging to a dream at my age might be pathetic. I'm risking everything. This whole life I've built to chase my dreams again. And this time I am not giving up no matter what.
If you stuck around till the end of the video, I just want you to know that I appreciate you. And if you want to talk to me about anime related topics, join my Discord server. Also consider becoming a channel member, another way to support me, and I support you back with shoutouts at the end of the video, early access to new videos, custom emotes, and members only videos depending on which level of membership you decide to choose. And if you're someone that enjoys anime content that keeps it real, consider subscribing so when I hit 10k, you can brag about being a day one. I gotta get back in the kitchen to cook. Peace.